This is KGW News at noon.
I am absolutely thrilled. Ecstatic. I can't wait. Really happy.
And she's not the only one feeling that way. More than 400 teachers in the Camas school district are back at work after going on strike, delaying the first day of school. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brenda Braxton. Camas teachers ratified the contract yesterday, ending an 8-day walkout and the first teacher strike in Camas history. Devin Haskins is live outside Helen Baller Elementary School. Devin, everybody sounds excited for the first day.
Oh yeah, it's lots of excitement here outside this elementary school for that first day of school, from teachers, parents, students, you name it, everybody with a smile on their face. Maybe it's to the fact that one, it's the first day of school, but it's also Friday, so they only go to school and work for one day before getting that weekend again.
It's weird to be back on a Friday, first day on a Friday, but it's a great feeling overall.
I'm looking forward to meeting my students and making connections.
In Camas, teachers walked back into the school before the bell rang for the first day of school. At drop-off, it was like any other first day. Some kids a little nervous, others excited to get going. Parents took those back-to-school photos as they both said goodbye to each other and to summer.
Make-A-Wish wants your picture. They played a lot of Legos and did a lot of outdoor stuff, but with Dad, luckily. But yeah, I've been out here and it's great to be back.
What do we want?
Fair contract!
We want it
now! The teachers in Camas had been on strike since August 28th, what should have been that first day of school. On Thursday, after 8 days of no school, teachers ratified a new contract. That contract reduced class sizes across most grade levels beginning next year. It also raised teachers' pay by 13% over the next 2 years and boosts funding per student for PE, libraries, and music programs over the next 3 years.
I've been here for the last 2 weeks. It is great feeling to be back.
Bryn Diston is a 6th grader at nearby Liberty Middle School.
I'm super excited for it because it's a new school and I get to make new friends and I have plenty of new teachers to get to know, and I think it'll just be a whole new fun experience.
Yeah. He's been waiting for 2 weeks, just dying to get to school.
Parents like Emily Foreman say the time off has been hard for them.
It's been a struggle because I go to school and I go to work, and you know, my mom watches him, so trying to give her that time off when I come home. But I think he's more excited to be with other kids because it's been kind of a struggle for him.
This extended summer,
It was nice, but then I think that we'll have to make that up this summer, which is pretty sad, but it was pretty nice.
All right, so to that point of like, when will these missed days be made up, the 8 days that this strike happened over the course of, the Camas School District says they actually plan to make up those days using embedded days off that they've already built into the calendar school year and not push back the last day of school, which right now as it stands is June 14th. They hope to have more information next week. Brenda?
All right, keep us posted. Devin, thanks. In the meantime, the strike continues in the Evergreen School District with no deal in sight. Teachers in Southwest Washington's largest district have been on the picket line since last Wednesday. We'll keep you posted as updates come in. Well, lots of sunshine to end the school week and the work week. Rod is back in the Weather Center with a look at our forecast.
Yeah, it's gorgeous out there, Brenda. Good afternoon to you. We had a little bit of late cloudiness that popped early this morning, but by 10 o'clock, for the most part, everybody was sunny. Cannon Beach had clouds to begin with, but that is just gorgeous. Look at the blue reflection in the Pacific waters, Haystack Rock. Temperature outside 64 degrees. If you're going to the coast this weekend, by the way, sunshine obviously will greet you when you get there later today. It'll be sunny for the most part from start to finish tomorrow. Sunday could be cloudy, though. Here's a look at Lincoln City, just to verify from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort Cam that all of the coast is looking fabulous. Lots of golfers out on the course. That's the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Aloha. When downtown Portland clouded over for a couple of hours this morning, It was clear when you popped over the West Hills, and that's clearly the shot or the situation out in Washington County right now, 68 degrees. There's downtown. We've lost all cloud cover. 67 degrees at noon is our temperature. I think we're on track to get up to about 81. Yesterday it was 78. I still have a warm up for us tomorrow. Also coming up in my complete forecast, we'll have the update on that powerful now Category 4 hurricane. That's Lee out in the Atlantic Ocean. That's coming up.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Rod. Oregon State University and Washington State University are taking legal action to take control of what's left of the Pac-12. The universities released a joint statement within the last hour after filing the lawsuit in Washington. They want a judge to give OSU and WSU control of conference assets since the other 10 schools have voted to leave. They also want the other 10 schools kicked off the board of directors and stripped of their voting privileges. President Biden is in India for the G20 summit. Air Force One landing in New Delhi earlier today. The White House says reforming the World Bank and helping developing countries invest in climate change are top issues during this trip. The war in Ukraine is also on the agenda. The G20 nations have been divided over that conflict. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Kyiv this week, showing strong support for efforts to fend off Russian aggression.
If we allow that to go forward with impunity, then you open a Pandora's box, and it's a recipe for conflict around the world. Would-be aggressors say, hey, the Russians can do it, I can do it. That's not a world that Americans want to live in.
After the G20 summit, President Biden is scheduled to travel to Vietnam and meet with leaders there to try and strengthen economic ties between our two countries. A special grand jury in Georgia recommended even more indictments in the effort to overturn the 2020 election. The district attorney only decided to charge 19 people, including former President Donald Trump. The report released earlier today recommended charges against 39 people. That includes Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, former U.S. Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, and former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. The release of these names is not standard grand jury protocol. We're expecting an update today on the deadly shooting in Rockaway Beach. Tillamook County deputies shot and killed a man near North Juniper and 3rd. This happened last night. A witness told us she saw the man in the front yard of a home yelling profanities at police and then throwing something at the officers. At one point, she says she heard officers tell the man not to go inside the house. And then about 5 minutes later, she says she heard 2 gunshots. The man was hit and died at the scene. No officers were seriously hurt. The Clatsop County Sheriff's Office has now taken over that investigation. Prosecutors want to limit cameras in the courtroom when the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students goes on trial. Brian Koberger's defense team previously filed a motion asking the judge to ban cameras. Now, prosecutors agree. They say those cameras could interfere with the testimony of certain vulnerable witnesses, including the victim's surviving roommates. A hearing on the issue is scheduled for next Wednesday. Homeless advocates think more should have been done to protect the victims of a suspected serial rapist. Authorities say 49-year-old Konstantin Svidenko deliberately targeted women who are homeless. According to court documents, multiple women came forward identifying him as their abuser. When officers confronted him back in June, he denied ever being with any of the women. 3 months later, though, more victims reached out to police, and he was finally arrested this week. We spoke with Ebony Brown, who works for a group supporting homeless people.
Even if you're doing an investigation, you can still warn the women that are out here every day, potentially the next victim. A lot of women don't have necessarily the fight in them, or they're in a fragile place. They can't fend off these folks.
We asked Portland police about those concerns. They said sexual assault cases are complex and take a while to gather enough evidence. They say advocating for victims and holding offenders accountable is their top priority. This new mural at the corner of Southeast 2nd and Yamhill is part of a new campaign called Portland is What We Make It. The ad agency Wyden & Kennedy came up with this slogan, and they unveiled it yesterday at their Northwest Portland office. Many of the city's top creators were there talking about how we can invest in Portland's unique culture. Mike Thielen was among them. He's the co-founder of Feast Portland, one of the biggest food festivals in the country. He says it's time to get serious about the Rose City.
Portland is what you make it, to me, means that. It's an invitation to be creative, to participate in the city, to get involved in the city. And if you're out there complaining, stop complaining. Get out there and do something.
A team of artists with the company Hand of Dog painted the mural. They say the inspiration for the piece is a local cat named Jonesy, who's also known as the Kitty of Roses.